Hi, I'm Chris Ryan. You've joined me at the Belfry in the TaylorMade Performance Centre, and in this video we're going to give you 3 things that you can focus on which are going to help you stop that shank. Just before we do, please make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. The details of those should hopefully be in the corner of the screen anytime about now. I would like to certainly film some content this year based on stuff that comes from you guys. If there's something you'd like me to help you explain, if there's something you might like to look at in your golf swing, so a flaw that you've had for a while, let me know via one of those and hopefully I can do a video which is going to be helping you. So today is all about the shank. Now, I can't imagine there will be many people watching this video who have not hit a shank at some point in their golfing career. It never ends well. It doesn't go down the fairway. It never sort of ends up on the green. It always ends up in a terrible position, and the next shot is pretty hard because it's in the back of your mind. And often it's a shot which golfers sort of struggle with for a period of time. It's often one of those where they hit it and then they go and hit it for 2 to 3 weeks, and it's really the one shot which makes people want to give up the game. So we're going to go through three things that you might want to look at if you're struggling with this shot. So point number 1 is really all about setup and balance. So we're going to try and group all that into one point. It would be quite easy for us to just say, if you're shanking it, you're stood too close to the ball. It very, very often isn't that, but that's the one thing that people often sort of go straight to. If they're hitting off the inside of the club, they automatically assume that they're standing too close. It very often isn't, but I just want you to check that this isn't the case for you. So to make sure that you are in balance, make sure that your shoulders are just out in front of your knees, just about through the toes, and make sure that your arms are hanging pretty freely from your shoulders. If you can do that, and the weight is about mid-foot, you should be in about good balance, and that should give you the right distance to the ball. So if my arms are hanging maybe a bit too close to me, that would suggest I'm too close to the ball, or maybe if my balance wasn't quite right, this would look different as well. So I just want you to check your balance at setup first. Make sure your shoulders are just outside your knees. Make sure your arms are hanging pretty freely, and that's going to help you be in good balance. Included in this first point is dynamic balance. So dynamic balance is basically how you balance through your golf swing. So it is not uncommon for us to see golfers adopt a pretty good starting position, but during their golf swing, their weight or their balance moves very much on towards their toes this way. So you can see here how my hips and my pelvis are moving off their sort of start line, if you like. And what that does is it starts to move the whole golf swing more outwards away from me. As you can imagine, we start to then run the risk of hitting the inside part of the club. So we want to check, point number 1, setup, distance from the ball, balance, and then dynamic balance. So it's all kind of linked into one thing, but it's all pretty relevant. So setup, good balance to setup, distance to the ball, and make sure that you're not moving onto your toes during your downswing. Point number 2 is all about how we are delivering the handle through impact. Often I will see golfers, and often these are the golfers who are desperately trying to hit that ball on a right to left ball flight. They've maybe struggled with fade, slices, that kind of thing. They're working towards a draw. And what they'll often do is on the downswing, they'll be trying to move the hands out towards, let's say, 1 o'clock if the target is 12. They're trying to swing out to the right of the target. And as you can see from that camera angle there, all that really does is starts to get everything moving more away from me. And if the golf club's moving away from me, then again, we run the risk of hitting that ball off the hosel. So I'll try and demonstrate. It's not easy to hit a shank when you're intentionally doing it, but it's when we come in from here and we're trying to push away. That was out the shank because my hands are moving out to 1 o'clock. We do not want that. We've done videos on this in the past. We should, through impact, in an ideal world, have the lead hand moving more in towards my body and slightly up as I come through. This is a very, very good way to eliminate that shank. I will often see a lot of success with golfers who hit the shank just by talking to them about the movement of their hands and the hand path through impact. That's quite a good way of working on it. So there's the second point. Now, point number 3 is quite simple. It's not very technical. It is to try and not hit it out the shank. Now that sounds obvious, okay? It does sound obvious, but often it's the quickest way to fix it. Golfers often believe that the fix to their problem is going to be some complicated, long-winded, 6 months of practice, drills, that kind of thing. Very often, if we just say, we'll just try and hit it at the toe. It's amazing how good those results are. So, stuff you can do. You can take a setup, and I've done videos of this before, And we know that when we are shanking it, effectively the golf club is further away from us than when we started. So if I set up and I set the golf club, so the ball is at the hosel, and I ask that golfer to make contact with the middle of the golf club, they are going to bring the club closer to them on the way down than it was at setup. So the golf club is moving the opposite direction to what it is currently. That's a really good way to start to eliminate this shot. What golfers will often do is, because they're heading out the shank, they will set up from the toe. Now, what effectively they've done there is they've encouraged the move that we're trying to eliminate. We've said that the golf club is moving this way, and that's what causes the shank. So if I set my golf ball out the toe, I'm telling my brain that I've got to move the club further away from me to hit the right part of the club. That's the move I'm trying to stop. I don't want the club to move further away from me. I want it to move closer to me. So, setting up, addressing it out the inside, right off the hosel, which is the bit that you're hitting, and then actually trying to make a swing and hit the middle of the golf club is a very, very good way to retrain your body to where the middle of that golf club is. If you've got face tape, or you can get face tape off your professional, that's a really good sort of aid whilst you're doing these drills, because it's just going to let you know where that ball is striking. It's often not where you think it is. So, same again, set up, address it out the hosel. I feel like I'm going to hit the hosel there, so I'm going to make my backswing, bring the club closer to me, and I can still hit some pretty good shots that feel out the middle. So the third one there is quite a simple thing, it's not very technical, but that's often going to be the most successful. So 3 things. Hopefully one of those 3 things will eliminate that shot from your game, and that's really what we want to do, because, as I said at the start, it's pretty destructive, it never ends well, and it's certainly not a shot that we desire on the golf course. So 3 things, if you can focus on those, you will hopefully not hit the hosel of the golf club, you won't hit those shanks, and the game will be certainly a lot more enjoyable if you can eliminate that shot from your game. So thank you very much for watching. There's a comments box down there, I'm sure you know that. There's also a like button, I'm sure you know that as well. And I'm sure you also know that you need to subscribe to my channel. There's a link in the description box. Please subscribe if you haven't done already. It really, really does help me, and it means I can make some more content like this one. Okay? Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time.